Hello, and welcome to another edition of Insights, where we go behind the scenes and give our audience a look at our upcoming programming. I'm Catherine Epping, principal dancer with Ballet Vero Beach, and I am joined today by none other than Adam Schnell, our artistic director and CEO of Ballet Vero Beach. Adam, thanks for being here with me.
Thanks for having me.
So our upcoming program, Seasons, it is featuring Glinka Pas de Trois, choreographed by George Balanchine, a pas de deux from the American, choreographed by Christopher Wheeldon, and a world premiere of the Four Seasons, choreographed by you.
Is it? Just kidding. I'm going to roll up my sleeves for this one.
The music is Vivaldi's Violin Concerto. How long have you been listening to that music and choreographing to it?
So, I mean, most people know that I'm a big fan of Vivaldi, especially for ballet. I've used a lot of his music. The Four Seasons, I think, was probably the first work of his that I was ever aware of, just because it's such an iconic piece of music that's used in everything from the concert hall to cartoons to commercials. But I think when I fell in love with the music and really knew I wanted to put my stamp on the ballet was actually the same time I fell in love with the music for Anything You Can Do. It was my first trip abroad to Europe. My mom and I were in London for a week, and we went to St. Martin in the Fields Cathedral and saw one of their candlelight concerts. And the Four Seasons was on the bill, and I just thought, this is amazing, and the setting. And then I bought the CD that has the recording of the music that we use for our version of Four Seasons and Anything You Can Do. And I've been listening to it ever since. And that was 1999, so 25 years ago. 25 years I've been listening to this recording. And ironically, that's not the only time I've ever heard the work in a candlelight concert. I also heard it in a beautiful cathedral in Paris. So it's been germinating for a long time.
Is your choreographic process always the same? Do you hear the music and you see movement to it, or has it been different this time around?
When I am wholly responsible for a work, like deciding what I want to do from the ground up, it's always inspired by a piece of music. I've been lucky enough that a few times I have said to a composer, I really like your work, please write something and I'll choreograph to it. But even then, I always listen and find the inspiration from the music.
In Four Seasons, you have each of our principal dancers dancing one of the seasons. What inspired your casting, or why did you choose each dancer for the specific season that they'll be shown in?
So I knew that I wanted to get to the point, if we were going to do this work, if it was going to be part of our stage-to-page program, that I wanted to have each season be a single person. So I knew that we needed 4 principal dancers at that point to be able to do this work. The rest of the structure of the work has sort of evolved as I really came back to the music a few months ago and knew what the costume design was, knew what the set design was. I actually didn't really assign the principals to their seasons until I really sat down with the music and said, okay, I know how many people we have, I know what the costumes look like, I know what the set looks like, now let's see what comes out. And that actually, the older I get and the more seasoned, like a roast, seasoned I become as a choreographer, I think that happens more and more. I have an idea of where I'm going, but then sitting with the music and thinking about the dancers that we have, it really evolves from there. For example, you are taking on the role of Summer, and inside scoop, so I was on vacation this last summer, and we were emailing me, or you texted me or something, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about Four Seasons. And I had started it, I had done most of spring, but I hadn't decided if Catherine was gonna be summer or fall, the 2 female seasons that we have in the piece. And I went, oh, well, I better actually do something and make something nice for her. And it happened to be a horribly rainy, kind of gray day where I was on vacation. I sat down and I started listening to Summer, and I started thinking about you as a new mom, you and evolving in your place in the company and everything like that. And I'm like, I bet she'd like something a little angsty, a little like powerful woman, and it just sort of poured out. So sometimes it really comes down to the moment, and I went, well, that's her now, so that's how you came to be Summer. And there's kind of similar stories with all the other 4 leads, playing on the strengths, but giving people something challenging to dance.
I remember exactly. We were texting. More insights. I was sitting in a big rocker, a new mom. I think I was like 2 weeks postpartum.
Yeah. Yes, we had just found out you had the baby.
It,
yeah.
And I texted, can't wait to do something else. No, I was so excited. And I think you did, I mean, you don't care what my opinion is, but I think you did a great job matching the dancers to the seasons. And when you see the choreography, if you know us as people at all, you'll see that he's really taken our human traits into, I think, the work. And that's always fun to dance when you have the opportunity to explore parts of yourself and your life and what you're going through your steps.
I agree. So. And first of all, let's be clear. I care about your opinion. I care about everyone's opinion. All of your suggestions, every single time. I love them. Please keep them coming.
On that note, you touched briefly on our partnership with the Learning Alliance with our Stage to Page program. I know a lot of our audience is familiar with this program, but just in case this is new for them, can you kind of explain that series that we have and how this fits into it?
So Stage to Page was a step in the evolution in our partnership with the Learning Alliance. We basically went to them and we said, you know, we want to do more. We want to meet the challenge of early literacy head on. And they said, great, what do you got? I said, well, we have these student matinees. Kids are coming to see the ballet, but I feel like it's just that. Great, they're coming to see the ballet. It's arts exposure, but it's not anything else. And over the past 5 seasons, we've built out what is now called the Stage to Page program. What that means is we have a specific ballet for first graders, a specific ballet for third graders, and now we have 4 seasons, which is a ballet created for fifth graders surrounding their poetry curriculum. And we not only perform these ballets for our main stage performances, so our audiences get to enjoy them, but we do them every year, and we take the workshops associated with them into the schools. So this year, the program will reach around 2,000 kids in the Indian River County School District, and that's 13 out of 15 elementary schools. And what I think has been so amazing about working with the Learning Alliance is I've always put a lot of layers into my choreography, and it's a new challenge to think about the ballets from the perspective of, okay, so what is, you know, Betty Balletta Maine, who loves ballet and just wants to come see us, what is she going to get out of the ballet versus what are we trying to tie in curriculum-wise to 5th grade or 3rd grade or 1st grade? And what has emerged over the past 5 years is we have these really signature works that our audiences love, but we are actually now to the point where the first graders in the program will have gone through the 3rd grade experience and now are going through the 5th grade experience, and it really is these building blocks of learning, not only literacy, that sort of take these kids through elementary school. And I'm just so proud of that, because I never thought when we started working with the Learning Alliance that this would be the result. And we'd have such amazing ballets for our audiences. Like, the Stage to Page ballets, we don't dumb down the choreography.
They're not watered down.
Yeah, we don't dumb down the music. We don't dumb down the sets, the costumes. Like, the kids are getting the highest quality professional production. So I think that's also why our general audiences fall in love with them, because they get to see you guys, you know, really dancing your hearts out in works that's created for you. But it's really like meaty work. You were talking about, you know, getting to dive into roles that are created for you and explore them and figure out how they change and evolve. And that's true of all the Stage to Page ballets.
I also want to add that the dancers are the ones going into the school, doing these workshops. So it's an added element for the students to say, I saw you on stage, I remember you doing this, and then seeing us in human form, working with them on an educational integrated program. It's the principal dancers that they're seeing in Four Seasons that are also in their street clothes in their classroom. And I think that's super important and unique about the program as well.
Well, and I think that it just goes along with our whole mission, both for our general audiences and with our community engagement. We happen to be recording this during Nutcracker season. Maybe that's why we're a little punchier than normal. But we were just rehearsing our children's cast, and whether they're kids who are taking dance or kids from our engagement programs, they're coming to the experience of being on stage with us. Most of them have already seen a stage-to-page ballet or come to one of our accessible family-friendly shows. So it's really that sort of wrap-around, sort of trying to place ourselves at the center of the community, and that is really what you're talking about. It's not, and there's nothing wrong with hiring specific trained teaching artists to deliver education curriculum, but it's not the same level as like, oh, I saw Miss Catherine as Summer on stage, and now here she is talking to me about similes and metaphors and poetry, and it's just a whole different thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's important when we hire dancers, like you're going to be doing this. This is not optional. This is not like, I don't really care whether you like it or not. I want you to excel in it. But I mean, this is a thing that we do as part of dancing here.
There's an inside joke with the dancers that we all know that Adam loves our dancing, and it's totally separate from that. But we all say we were personality hires.
I mean, I was a personality hired, and I hired myself, so why shouldn't you guys be personality hires?
Okay, back to Four Seasons.
Thank God.
You've commissioned a whole set of new costumes.
Yeah.
Who designed them? And tell us just a little bit. I don't want to give the surprise away, but tell us a little bit about them.
So, again, I feel like I'm talking like I'm 100 years old and I've been choreographing forever. What continues to excite me about getting in there and making dances is the artists that I get to work with. Whether that's you guys, whether it's costume designers, whether it's scenic designers, whether it's our resident filmmaker, Lance, who's behind the camera right now. Look at his smile. Oh, you can't see it, but I can. So when approaching Four Seasons, again, I had an idea for where I wanted the choreography to go. I had an idea for the story that I wanted to tell, loosely based on the poems that Vivaldi wrote to accompany his score, because we were tying it into poetry, very loosely based. But I really wanted to approach the designers on the project and say, let's sort of see, where would you set this? This is what I see when I hear the music, but where would you set this? So Amy Vogue, our resident costumer, is responsible for the costumes in this one. And we really settled on the Art Nouveau style. There's an amazing set of, I don't remember if they're prints, and I'm so sorry, all you visual art fans, that I grew up with by Mucha, that are these amazing like women with flowing hair, and they're winter, spring, summer, and fall. They have these gauzy dresses, and I mean, they're just these goddesses. And I remember listening to this music, and it must have been a concert I went to or a poster, like someone used that. I'm like, wow. Like the time period when Vivaldi wrote the music is totally different than the Art Nouveau, but it just somehow meshed together. So I gave Amy some inspiration and images, those in particular, and I said, maybe Art Nouveau, but you don't have to do that. And she went, absolutely, Art Nouveau. I want to tackle that style. I want to tackle that period. So from there, we started working together, and I couldn't decide whether I wanted scenery, because you could go really big, and I couldn't decide. So then I engaged our resident scenic designer, Emily Luongo, and I said, okay, so we're going in this sort of Art Nouveau style, like I want something natural, like what should we do? Can we bring in some style elements from the costumes or those prints? And both Amy and Emily are phenomenal. Like they give me like, I'm exaggerating, but 100 versions. And they're like, we could do this, we could do that. This could be cool, we could do that. We could make that in gold, we could do that in silver. And so I'm like, what do you guys want to do? And then we sort of get to a place where we end up with these phenomenal scenery and costume designs. And again, it just pulls it back full circle to, I get excited when it's not just me making all the decisions, when I sort of say, okay, we're going to do this ballet, but I want to bring in designers and dancers that I know can really sink their teeth into it. And I think it becomes a richer experience for the audience as well.
Yeah, you can feed off each other's inspiration and
Yep.
excitement for the project.
Yep.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I have to ask, is there a section or a moment that is your favorite part? If not, it's okay. Do you have a favorite snippet?
So I think that I can't answer that until we actually get through the premiere year. But what I am excited about is, and this is happening to me more and more, again, as I go on as a choreographer, it's happening to me more and more, is that I had that idea, I thought I knew where it was going, and then as we start to put it together, I go, oh, it's actually not about that at all. Like you look at your own choreography and you go, huh, I think I'm working something out through this piece here. But so I really like that it's turned away from the literal winter, spring, summer, and fall to be more about like kind of a human journey that we're all on. And I'm still tweaking the beginning and the ending to really make that read.
I'm so curious.
But, well, you've been in the rehearsals for the finale, like I changed it like 17 times. But I'm still trying to give it those perfect bookends so that really reads to the audience. But I think that beyond the evolution of the story, my favorite parts are really the beginnings and the end of each season. Somehow, when I was putting it together, like I worked on spring separately, then summer, then fall and winter, and I would go back to my notes and I would say, okay, so where did Catherine leave the stage? So that's where Ellie should come on from, just to make it choreographically look balanced. But then when you watch it through, you're like, there's some weird sort of like path that the whole thing is taking throughout those moments. So I like that as well.
I feel like your transition between seasons are epic. Like everyone has an epic entrance. It's amazing.
Epic.
Well, you can see the 4 seasons along with Glinka Pas de Trois and The American in Program 1 seasons happening here in Vero Beach at VBHS Performing Arts Center, January 17th through the 19th. For tickets, visit us at www.balletverobeach.org or call 772-269-1065. Adam, thanks again so much for chatting with me.
Thanks, it was fun.